Hey guys, I am back to bust another myth. Women aren't the only ones having abortions. This myth gets a little confusing, but let's try to clear up the confusion with biological facts and biblical truth. This myth insinuates that men are getting pregnant and having abortions. The only way this could ever be biologically possible is if a true hermaphrodite conceives a child, and only 11 cases of pregnancy in true hermaphrodites have ever been reported. So this idea that women aren't the only ones having abortion is based entirely on a social construct, an idea that a woman who identifies as any gender other than her biological sex can get pregnant and have an abortion procedure. So let's unpack this. This condition is called gender dysphoria. A person with gender dysphoria feels severely uncomfortable in their biological sex. For the last 100 years of collective data, only 0.01% of the population experienced gender dysphoria, mostly young boys between the ages of 2 and 4. Over 70% naturally grew out of their gender dysphoria without any kind of medical or psychological intervention. This condition was so rare that it simply did not exist in teen girls and young women. That is, until 2012. This sudden spike in transgender identification in young women emerged so rapidly, by 4,400%, that despite a century of data, teen girls are now the leading demographic claiming to have gender dysphoria. We would describe this as a social contagion or a mass phenomenon among young women in an emotionally volatile and vulnerable time in their lives. You better believe Planned Parenthood is ready to capitalize on that market with hormone therapy without a therapist note or parental permission. And once they've built that trust with your daughters about how they're the only ones who understand them, they'll be ready to sell them an abortion too. Confusion is a slippery slope. The irony of this transgender trend is that it dissolves all safe spaces for women. The days of female empowerment are gone. Lies are being told about the risks of gender transition with puberty blockers, hormones, and surgical alterations, and the potential for permanent, irreversible damage. Any other kind of body dysphoria would be called out as unhealthy and treated with the hope of full restoration to a person's true identity. Take anorexia, for example. It's a socially contagious illness, especially among young women, but we wouldn't watch a person starve themselves to death without intervening. Women with anorexia are morbidly thin, but identify as obese. Their sense of self has dangerously altered the image they see in the mirror. But Planned Parenthood is allowing the lie of transgenderism to take root and permanently disfigure a young woman's mind and body. Young girls who are struggling in adolescence are especially prone to these lies as they vie for social status and affection during a high anxiety stage in life with so many changes. This phenomenon has spread rampantly during the age of social media. Facebook's own data shows that self-harm, depression, and suicidality among teens doubled for girls ages 10 to 14 since the dawn of Instagram. Throw a pandemic and food insecurity in there for an effect that we have yet to measure. Listen to stories of people who are detransitioning. Search for lawsuits by women who were hurried into transitioning to men. They were pushed from an early age by gender activists to isolate themselves from their families and loved ones who are living with irreversible results. love doesn't do that. If you or someone you know is experiencing gender dysphoria, it is important to reconnect them with their true identity. Connect them with a therapist who can help get to the heart of the pain and separation from their true selves. They might be masking some serious trauma that needs to be healed. They deserve that kind of love that speaks truth and walks alongside them. But I will say this one last thing. No matter how you identify, you are a human being created in the image of God, loved far more than you know. And that baby in your womb is no less human than you are. If you need help today, go to www.loveline.com.